All right. Hello, Knockouts. Tonya TKO here. And we are live. I just wanted to go live real quick because I put up a video earlier today and I don't really want to record another video and then edit and do all of that other stuff. I wanted to talk about this story that a lot of you are sending me. It's about a husband. This story it just sickened me to my core. I just reread the story to see if I was really reading this right, and it made me want to throw up, right? So I just wanted to talk about this real quick, and I may even do a call-in session. I don't know. I'm disgusted. So basically, a husband lied about his coronavirus symptoms. He hid them from the hospital staff and went into his wife who was giving birth and infected her. The idiocy of people just seems to know no bounds. So let me just explain or describe this story to you all, and I want to hear your point of view on this. So, this husband, his wife was giving birth, right? This is in New York, where this is the epicenter of the outbreak, with almost 80,000 cases as of today. Well, as of this morning, there were 75,000 cases. I haven't looked again. But as you all know, there were people out by the pier hanging out because this medical ship was coming in and New Yorkers are standing around shoulder to shoulder hanging out, right? We got people who are just not taking this seriously. This man had the symptoms. This man had the symptoms of the coronavirus. Went to the hospital. So each visitor is asked, how are they feeling? What is their temperature? Are there any presenting issues? And the guy knew that he had symptoms of the coronavirus and lied about his fever. So now the hospital has implemented mandatory temperature checks. It's like, I'm so embarrassed for our country. I'm so embarrassed for our country because in China, they were walking, they had stops walking, going up to cars. Anytime you would want to go into a building, they had temperature checks there. We're here in the United States, the damn quote unquote greatest country on earth, and we can't even get tested for the damn virus. If you look at the technology that is, even the test that they're taking, even the tests that they're giving, in South Korea, they got tests that can give you your results within a matter of hours, or is it minutes? I need to check on that because it's like the technology is moving so quickly and we are so far behind. So I just wanted to give you all the scoop on this story because I can tell that this is going to be a story that a lot of people are going to send me. So I just wanted to get ahead. You know what? You hear that sound, right? I'm in New York and I hear that sound all day, all throughout the day. Ambulance. And it's hard to feel like we are not in. I wonder whether or not we just are like those people in the movies who were just like, I, I just, it's hard. It's hard to kind of let your mind wander. But I hear that sound all throughout the day and it's difficult to ignore it. It's difficult to ignore it. Anyway, I just wanted to give you all this scoop. What are your thoughts about this situation? Somebody said that it's more common than you think. YouTube is suppressing the views on this video because I use the word corona in the title, and YouTube has specifically told, they sent out a message saying do not use the word corona or COVID in your title or tags. So they're suppressing the views, but I'm putting it up anyway. Look, it is what it is. You know what? I don't even have a thought on this. The selfishness and the lack of insight of people is stupefying to me. What type of human being puts their unborn child and a person in labor at risk when you know it's like he would rather be there? Like somebody sent two people today, two people within the past couple of hours sent this video to me. So I knew that this was going to pick up some steam. So I wanted to jump ahead of it. The first person was like, you know what, I would kill my husband if he did something like this, right? And the second person was like, this is Idris, Idris part two, or Idris, the second Idris. I can't remember what he said. And Ashley is seeing advertisements for parties in California. Oh, Caramel is saying they have to suppress the views because they don't want anyone giving false information about. Hey, look, I get it. I mean, it is what it is. It is what it is. I mean, I knowingly put the title in my video, so I have to deal with the consequences of that. I mean, we're here. But what are your thoughts on this? Because my mind is just like, it's like the only thing that came to my mind is, you know, there are people out there who are in abusive situations and they keep thinking that it's them. When no, it's the abuser. There are some selfish people out there who don't give a damn about you. They care about themselves, even to your peril or detriment. There are people out there who were defending Idris Elba, allowing his wife to come into contact with him there's some more videos I need to catch up on, because there are people who are saying that she originally tested negative and then they made sure that she got the virus and that now she's tested positive. I don't know. I have to look into that. I got to look into that. But like I said, I just wanted to bring this story out. So listen, I'm not going to stay on too long unless there's other things that you all have to say. I just wanted to bring this story to you. You can Google the story. It's in New York. So you know what? I don't even feel like looking at the hospital. Just Google it. That's all I can really say. I'm tired, because it's like those who hear will hear, those who don't want to hear won't hear. So it's like, what can you do? What can you do? You know what I mean? Like there's people who's like, oh, Idris's wife, she was just being a wife. That's what a wife is supposed to do. And it's like it's so much more to it. We are constantly being shown examples of people that just really don't give a damn. They don't give a damn about you. They don't give a damn about me. They don't give a damn about themselves. So Nas is saying, don't be tired. You're doing a great job. I've shared your page with so many people. Which page have you shared? This one? The one on Facebook? Let me know. I want to hear. But I am tired. I am. Because it's like there's this constant fight and battle for things that you would think. It's like, it's unbelievable. It's like there's things that you would think are just commonplace. You know what I mean? It's like things that you would think, oh, well, surely. Okay. Okay. Thank you, Nas. I appreciate that. You're like, well, surely anyone would know. Look, if you tested positive, keep your loved ones away from you. You don't know how it'll show up in their bodies. You don't know what havoc it will wreak in their bodies. Who would intentionally or haphazardly or mistakenly transmit a disease that is killing people, a disease that nobody knows anything about. The thing about the Idris Elba situation that troubled me so much is that even though he was asymptomatic, he didn't know how it was going to show up for her. We don't know if she has asthma or underlying health issues or something that may show up. You know, people get autoimmune diseases in adult life, and we just don't know. It is a new disease, and we don't have all of the information. Why would anybody who cares about someone, who knows that they are infected with a virus that has no cure and that we don't have enough information about, why would they allow their loved ones near them? And why is it so expected, normal, and commonplace for Black women to hold that space? And now with this situation, we don't know the race of these people, but there are gender disparities where the well-being, the well-being of women is just disregarded in many societies across the globe. And I keep trying to figure out why. Why is it like this? The arrogance of men. It's like when I said in my last video that my channel is for people who like to think deeply. Because on the surface, this whole conversation about the friend zone seems like a conversation about unrequited love, when it's really a conversation about men's inherent, listen, about men's inherent feeling entitlement to women's bodies. So that when they make up their mind that any woman that they say that they want should want them too, but then want them for what? Are they talking about marrying and living happily ever after and providing a stable, warm, loving home? No, most of the times they're talking about wanting to just have access to your nanny. You know what? I don't want to sugarcoat it. They want access to your pussy. They want to jump in and out of your hole. And then, I'm about to use some real profanity, and then discard you. And they are angry that they don't have the opportunity to wipe their ass with you. And they're like, why won't you give me access so that I can use or abuse you as I see fit? Because forget your consent, forget your desires, forget your agency as a grown woman to decide what is right for you. I shall have dominion over your desires. And it's like there's so many situations over and over and over and over again that just keep presenting themselves where this toxicity needs to be called out. This man hid his symptoms, lied to the people in the hospital so that he could have access to his wife as she was giving birth to their child. And he continued to lie until the woman started showing symptoms herself. And then he came clean. He exposed everyone. Listen. The nurses and the doctors and the women who hold the newborn children, he exposed them to corona because it didn't really matter. Nobody else's life matters. Listen, I saw a post on my Facebook page today saying that emergency room staff, healthcare workers are walking out, right? There was this woman crying because they don't have protective gears, and she has a child. She recovered from cancer, and she's putting herself on the front line for people who can't be considerate enough. Listen, imagine orphaning your children for somebody who couldn't keep their ass home from spring break, so that you have to be out there with no protective gear on your face, caring for people who couldn't be bothered to keep their damn ass at home. Imagine that. The whole situation is just angering. And this is supposedly the greatest country on earth. This. You know what? We talked about this in one of my broadcasts about the popular kid who you go to the reunion and all of the popular kids are washed up and beat down. America is like that popular kid where we've been so used to, remember, so used to being number one. My mind moves really quickly, though sometimes my words don't keep up with how fast my mind is moving. Remember when you were a teenager and you used to eat all these snacks and all this other stuff and you would never gain weight? And then sometime after you got to college or after college and you continued the same eating pattern, but you were like, wait a minute. I remember my wake up call was when I was in Atlanta. I had on these tight pants because I was like, oh my God, these pants, they've been shrinking in the dryer. You know how you leave home and you forget something, so you have to run back home? I forgot something, so I had to run back home. I was rushing, so I fumbled. Something dropped on the floor. I went to pick it up and split right up the back. Ash cheeks out through the hole in the middle. I said, oh no, I got to do something. Y'all got too big. I got it too big. And I didn't realize it because I had not changed my behavior from when my metabolism was different. And America is like, it's like that. We continue with this false notion of thinking that we are still number one without participating in the new innovative ways of remaining number one. If you see some of the technology that these other countries are using, you would be embarrassed for this country. You'd be embarrassed. In China, they have apps, right? They take your temperature, they give you the test, they give you a bracelet, they scan you, and they're able to tell wherever you are. They keep you in, they put you in quarantine, and they know exactly where you are. This damn country is losing children. And on the app can show you where the person is, what their temperature was, when their results come back, how to find them, what their contact information is. Here in this country, we have a buffoon at the helm. We got people too afraid. I'm just waiting. Like that black woman, Yemi, I can't think of Yemaya, something like that. The black woman who asked Trump the tough questions. I'm waiting for her to snap on him one day because that man is so rude and so disrespectful. I'm waiting for her to be like, now listen. You ain't gonna be talking to me like that. I'm waiting for her to just snap on this man because this man is such a bitch. He's such a bitch. He's such a soft, labial bitch. He's so sensitive and his feelings get hurt so easily. And he can't, it just, you know what? This situation has really brought front and center. Remember how we talked about America and how America is not really, we're not innovating. We're not doing, we're constantly cutting, we're constantly cutting the budgets for education, constantly cutting the budgets for innovation. So this situation just reminds me of what it is, what we've all known for so long. And it is the underlying ineptitude The underlying pass that we give to white males. Oh, listen, this is the white man that they elected to run this country, and you see what a buffoon he is, and you see how all of the people around him have to cover for him. And you see how people get to where it is that they are because people around them make excuses for them. I'm sure he's learned his lesson by now. Remember that? Oh, he's been impeached. I'm sure he's learned his lessons. Meanwhile, this man is more emboldened and idiotic than ever. This is the man that this country elected. And it shows. Oh, yes, it shows. It shows that when they don't have some newfangled book of damnation or book of revelation or whatever they want to call it, a gun in hand and manifest destiny, that they are really inept and incapable. Because side by side, if you compare, they have fallen way behind, and they know it. They know it. This is why they're running around. Listen. If the only way that you could stand tall is if somebody else is on their knees, then it shows just how, it shows how, anyway, I just went on a rant. And I'm sure there's going to be some people out there who don't like what it is that I've said. This is my face for that. Because listen, we all know it. We work with them. We see it. We correct their mistakes as they take credit for it. Oh, yes. We have, they berate us because they're in positions, higher positions. Meanwhile, they think that they're so capable, but they're riding on the backs of other people who are holding them up. Let me read some of these comments. Hey, everybody. Yes. And people are dying. Myself, I was riding the New York City subway based on the information that Trump was allowed to spew out, the lies he was allowed to spew out. Oh, there's just, it's 15 cases is going to be down to 1. This is going to go away. Don't you worry about nothing. It's all right. Carry on. I was on a New York City subway. I realized I'll never listen to him again. He's inept. It's like, oh. All right. So, of course, they do not care to infect their wives or GFs. They don't respect them enough to see them as whole people. So who cares if they're sick as long as he's still getting what he wants? Exactly. Thank you, FT. Thank you. How dare my trophy wife / GF have a mind or opinions of her own? How dare she make decisions alone? It's the same as when you get angry at your computer for being too slow. That's how those men feel. Oh, yeah, so I feel you. I feel you. And you know what? I'm so glad you brought that up because I was thinking about that this morning. I was actually thinking about that this morning. I was thinking about Ben Carson and how people were talking about how ugly his wife is, because to them, they can't even wrap their minds around a man wanting to be with a woman that they don't consider physically attractive. And it's like they don't even try to get a woman who is the best match for them. They just try to get a woman who's the most pleasing to their eye. That's it. And it's like they don't really take into account every woman has her own personality. Some personalities are better fits than others. But they're so busy with the external. Chantel says, I'm in Florida and Governor DeSantis will not place a statewide stay-at-home order. It's spreading like wildfire and it's going to get worse here as well. And you know what? You know, you all know, let me just grab my book real quick. All right. You all know that I wrote this book, the Book of Affirmations, Self-Love. It's an affirmations book. It's available on Amazon right now. Now is the perfect time for you to be able to do your affirmations. I've been doing mine, and this is what keeps me with my head up and moving forward. And can this, like this book, you'd be surprised what your life looks like when you truly, fully embrace and love yourself. Your finances, everything comes into order. Finances, relationships, all of it just comes into order, right? In 2014, when I closed my business, I remember I made a video and I was in tears. My head was shaved bald and I looked so pretty in that video. I was crying and I didn't know what I was going to do. I wanted to be an author, but I didn't know how I was going to get there. Then I traveled around Central and South America, and then I came back in, and then I went to California, and I ended up living in my car. I stayed in my car for a year trying to rise out of that situation. And when I needed to get out of my car, I started doing affirmations. These are the affirmations that I said. These are the affirmations. These are the most powerful ones that I said. I said a lot of different affirmations, trying a few different things. And the ones that were most powerful, that really helped rewrite my subconscious programming, are the ones that I placed in this book. It's a petite book that has just what it is that you need in there to be able to rewrite. Nothing more, nothing less, right? And I remember when I went down into that situation, it was difficult, it was hard, and it was like the rewriting of everything. You know how like you clear off a checkerboard or a chessboard, you just clear the whole thing off. And there's a part of me that feels like right now we're in a space where we asked for the rise of the feminine. And there's a part of me that wonders whether or not it took us going down into this reset in order for things to change. Because when your life is on the line, because the 6 degrees of separation, the circles are getting smaller and smaller. Now everybody, most people know someone who knows someone who has contracted the coronavirus. All of us now, the circle is getting smaller and smaller. And it's like, we don't really seem to care. Like, how many of you remember H1N1 or SARS or all of the people that died from those things? We barely remember it because it didn't affect us. It didn't come close to home. But now, oh, now, we've got your attention now. Your attention has been gotten now. And so now, when your loved ones are on the line, when the people you care about are fighting for their lives, and you're looking to authority for the answer, when you're looking up for guidance, and you see that the people that you've elected are buffoons, when you see that there are resources that are not being used. How many people now wish that we could go back to the primaries so they could vote for Bernie? How many people are being turned around from the hospitals? They can't get treatment because they don't have insurance. How many people wishing that they could go back now? And it's like you don't think about these things until you need it. All right. So now here we are. And now that Americans wake up from their slumber, what differences are we going to make in the voting booths come November? What are we going to do differently? It disheartens me the number of people that are still standing behind this idiot in office. And I've already begun confronting people in my inner circle. I don't have respect for people who are Trump fans. If you're a fan of Trump, I don't have respect for you. This man and his idiocy is killing people. And there's so many people overseas who only see the sound bites and they fall into the bravado. And one thing that Trump does well is if you tell a lie over and over and over again, people begin to believe it. And there are people overseas who think that this man, you will not imagine how many times I've heard foreigners talk about fake news media. The fake news CNN. And I'm like, listen, I'm like, close your mouth. You don't know what you're talking about. I'm like, listen, you need to educate yourself or stay out of American politics, because you're over here championing for a man who is an idiot and whose misinformation is costing people their lives. And Indigo is saying we need an entire paradigm shift. We need systematic change. Yes. Laron is saying yes, and I cried 3 days last week. I had to do a cleanse. I felt better this week a little. Yeah, there's a lot of people. I'm telling you, you know what? I've had so many people in my life who oh my goodness. Indigo has friends in Mexico that are driving her insane, who love Trump. And it's like, listen, the more some people are abused, the more they try to differentiate themselves. It's like little children when they have an abusive parent and the parent is thrashing them, and they just continue to try to think of ways to impress the parent, trying to get that love. And people in these quote unquote third world countries and their love for Trump, please. Anyway, so I was going to say something. I lost my train of thought now. Was it about doing a cleanse? Oh my goodness. FT says it's not going to let up. Okay, I don't even remember what I was going to say. If one of you remembers, just put it inside, because I was on my train of thought and then I saw the comment. And then this is part of the reason that I don't read the comments when I'm talking, because I just let them scroll by, because then I lose my train of thought. But nonetheless, so I can't even remember what I was going to say, but did we finish talking about the earth cleansing itself and being born anew? Because here we are at this space and time right now where something has got to give. And as our eyes open up and we start realizing that the people who are in power, I was very concerned for our Senate and Congress and our judges, because most of them are senior citizens. This country, the laws, the rules, all of this stuff are made by people who are, listen, a person who is 75 was born right after World War II. So we're talking about people who were born 2 decades after the Great Depression. We're talking about people who were born and were adults in the civil rights heyday where racism ran rampant. Oh, let's talk about that. The sins of the father. Let's talk about how this country has not made good on the atrocities of the past. That right up until 3 or 4 years ago, they were still blasting people, Native Americans, over pipelines. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, this country, is good gonna come to this country? If this country, please, listen, I wish I could remember what it is that I was gonna say. It hasn't come back to me yet. But how are you all out there doing? This is how I'm doing tonight. I'm feeling a whole host of emotions, from sadness to anger to sorrow to melancholy to joy. I'm feeling a lot of things. America and the UK needs to be charged with numerous crimes against humanity. Exactly. All of these people that we see inside of the pictures standing around at lynchings, those people need to be rounded up right now and put in prison. the woman who lied on that young black boy who started the civil rights movement with his death. Tell me his name because it's not coming to me. Starts with a T. Till. Emmett Till. That white woman, I don't give a damn how old she is right now. She needs to be imprisoned. It's like we really need to start making good, but we're having a shift in this country. We're having a shift in this country. Ashley had a total mental breakdown. What does that mean? Because you're typing here, so apparently your mentals are back together somehow. So talk to me. Talk to us. Is there anybody that needs to call in? Put up the number 1 if you need to call in. Put up the number 2 if you're just good in the comment section. All right, so put up 1 if you need to call in. Put up 2 if you're good just in the comment section. Yeah. So, LaRon, what's going on with you that you feel that you had to pick yourself up? So we have 1 1 and 2 2s. If we get 3 1s in, I'll turn on the phone lines. What is it about the quarantine that's taking a toll on you, Ashley? Because I've actually been enjoying. I've been enjoying the quarantine. I've been enjoying it myself. But then financially I'm okay. So, I can imagine if I had, because you know what? It's like when I ended up living in my car, it revealed some vulnerabilities to me in terms of living the life that I truly wanted to live without being beholden. Oh, wow. So Dip is saying the quarantine is taking a toll on her too. So listen. Okay. So you know what? I'm going to open up the phone lines. I'm looking for one more person who's saying that they're going to call in because we got dipped and we have another person. She was the first part of their name. I'll turn on the phone lines for a little while so that you all can call in. So I'm looking for another person to put up a 1. If not, then because dipped, we can stalk her. We can stalk dipped. So I'm just looking for one more 1. So if you feel the feeling move you, just put your 1 up in the room. So we got 5G. Yeah, I've been exercising at home. I've been watching Netflix. I've been eating, but the food is starting to dwindle. Oh, wow. Okay. Okay. So, no, but we'll stalk you, Dip. We'll stalk you. You don't have to worry. We got you. Because you're not going to be sitting there feeling bad all by yourself. We're going to pull you out of your I'm not going to say we're going to pull you out of your funk, but we'll pull you out of the shadows. Oh, what surgery are you trying to get? Yeah, I'm not eating out either. Let me tell you how someone tried to entice me. So yesterday I was craving, yes, oh, I wish I had my phone with me so I could show you all my scallion pancakes that I made today. So yesterday I was craving scallion pancakes. And somebody who was trying to entice me went out to go get some scallion pancakes and took a picture of it and sent it to me and asked me if I wanted some ice cream and stuff. And I was like, you still allowing other people to cook your food? You must be mad. I said, no. I said, listen, I value my life. My life is important. So I went right on to the YT And I looked up scallion pancake recipes. I must have watched about 7 of them because I'm doing alternate day fasting. So I eat one day, fast another day, eat one day, fast another day. And so yesterday I just spent my time looking up recipes. And wait, somebody said something about somebody compromising a child. Lord of mercy. So listen, I'm going to turn on the phone lines for the one person who said she wanted to call in. So I'll turn on the phone lines. And then you all can vote on whether or not we're going to stalk dipped. Okay? You all can vote on that. If you think we should stalk dip, put up a 3. If you think we should leave her alone, put up a 4. So if you think we should stalk her, put up a 3. If you think we should just leave her be, put up a 4. We're going to wait for those numbers. And dip, you're not allowed to vote. You're not allowed because you're biased. You know what? On my 14th day, we had you have an uncle that's visiting you and he's endangering your child. Hold on. What in the world? So Nia's coming for you, Indigo. She's coming for you. I told you cannot vote, Dipped. You cannot vote. Your vote does not count. Hey, Ivana. We're opening up the phone lines. Ivana's always up for calling in. But then can we get her off the line once she does? Goodness. Is the young lady who wanted to call in still here? Because I'm opening up the phone lines. Listen, the young lady, put up the 1 if you're still ready to call in. Because if not, I ain't opening the phone lines. Oh, goodness. So we were talking about that man who went to go visit. Okay. Phone lines are open. Let me just get the speaker on. The phone number is 323-488-3149. Everybody send some powerful thoughts out to Dr. Chris, whose grandmother is suffering from coronavirus right now. So send some powerful vibration out. All right, so the phone line is open. The phone line is open, so. All right. 323-488-3149. Phone line is open. Hello.
Hi there.
Hey, for some reason it didn't connect. Hold on, let me connect it to the, it's supposed to connect to the Bluetooth, but it hasn't connected. All right, it's connected now. Say something. Oh, Lord, we done lost all sound. Oh, man. Let me see if I could get this turned up. All right, say something now. Not. We all heard it connect. You know what? I mean, call right back in because it's not giving us any sound coming through. I don't know why it's not. The volume is up. Let me make sure that I got no devices trying to play any sound. All right, here we go. It's working now. All right, you are on the air live. If you want to give a name, you can. If you want to remain anonymous, you can.
Oh, sure. But that's okay. I'll tell my name.
Okay, what's your name?
I don't mind. My name is Shafreen.
Shafreen? Okay, so talk to us, Shafreen. Shafreen, what's going on?
So I'm calling from Canada.
Oh,
I'm in
okay.
Calgary, Alberta, Canada.
Okay.
Yes. So, um, your story about the husband who um put the child and the mom and child at risk.
Yeah.
So that one I wanted to address that because I'll give you like a scenario. Because for me, I am Jamaican, right?
Uh-huh.
My family is Jamaican, and my husband is from Botswana.
Okay.
So we kind of have, I guess, similar values when it comes to family and everything.
Mm-hmm.
So my husband, he works in a different province, like it could be like in the states, like how you have different states.
Okay.
So we have different provinces. So he's all the way on the east side of Canada. I'm on the west side, and he has the option to come home if he wanted to. But
Okay.
because the east side has more cases and it's pretty bad there, he stayed put. He's not even going to come home. We have 3 children. Um, so it's like for like when we think about it, because I know a husband. One of a husband's job is to protect his family,
Yes.
right? It's not just about like being up in everybody in each other's armpits. One
Okay.
of his jobs is to protect the family. So for him, he sees it as something more important for him to stay put in Ontario and not see us for some time, just to make sure that we don't contract that virus.
Right.
So like I think it's just, I guess it's a matter of values, like wherever the person has their values. I'm not going to try to put anybody down because they don't know any better, right?
Mm-hmm.
But a real husband is going to want to make sure that his child, like his child and his woman, that they are protected, from any kind of danger, even from the simplest things to even to Miss Corona. So
Exactly. Exactly.
that's, yeah,
So
it's
how is
quite,
he able to stay in so he's like on the east by Toronto.
yes.
How is he able to
He,
stay?
so he has a business there,
Oh, okay.
even though we live in Alberta, so that's on the west side, like that's just north of
Washington.
Montana. So,
Oh,
but he's
really?
like way over on
Okay.
the other side, north of Michigan.
Okay, got you,
So
got you.
he has a business there, and his base for his business is in Ontario.
Got
So
you.
he works out of Ontario, and then he comes back and forth. But now, I saw him last when he was working. He stopped by, said hi to me and the kids for like half an hour, and then head back. But we see each other like once every 3 months because of his work schedule.
Oh, wow, that must be tough.
Yeah, but since he went back, because he was supposed to come back like around this time because of the whole corona,
Yeah.
now he's not even going to bother to come yet. He wants to make sure everything's okay with him before he comes home, right?
Yeah, of course, of course. That must be very difficult, especially in a time like this. But it's
Mm-hmm.
like I feel you on that. What are your thoughts on the Idris Elba situation? Did you see the video earlier?
Yeah, I was thinking about that, and that's interesting because I'm gonna say my husband, even though he's the provider type, right? He doesn't have. I know for sure he doesn't have as much net worth as Idris. But my husband, with whatever he has, he would have sent me packing. He would have sent me packing. Even if I didn't want to go, he would have sent me packing. There is no way he would have allowed me to be around him when he's sick.
Yeah,
Like,
so but let me ask
it's
you a
just
question.
like amazing.
How long have you been married?
I've been married since 2011.
Okay.
But we and it's funny because we started dating at the beginning of 2010. So we knew
Okay.
each other about 5 months into our relationship. We were engaged, and then we got married.
Okay, so about 10 years you've been with your husband, right?
Yes.
Um, why do you think there's so many people who are applauding the wife for going to Idris and even absolving Idris of any culpability and allowing her to come and catch the virus from him.
I think it's like I'm gonna go back to that other person again, the one who went around his pregnant wife with the virus.
Yes.
Sometimes people, they just don't know any better, right? So they just think, oh, if it's like that, then it has to be this way, but they don't really see the deeper issue in terms of um, the value, instead of like the family values, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's like it's it's just a matter of them not knowing any different. To them, they feel like, oh, if somebody loves you, then they're gonna be around you all the time, and that's how they prove they love you, right? So
Okay.
they're gonna be up under your backside, your armpit, everything, all the time. But that's not necessarily the case when it comes to love. It's not about just being around the person all the time. It's
Right.
about it's so much deeper than that. It's about building something. It's
Well,
about
I wish that I were more understanding like you. I wish. Okay. Well, Shafri, I appreciate you calling in. Thank you for giving your perspective on those three different
Sure.
issues. Okay.
Thank you. Yeah, and take care of yourself. Stay safe away from
Yeah,
this
today
corona.
is day 19, or no, day 18 that I've been inside of the house. I'm starting to run low. I got a bunch of
Oh,
frozen vegetables and quinoa, and so I've been just surviving on that. But today I really needed some starch, and I made me some scallion pancakes with some
that
flour,
sounds good.
and I ordered some pizza flour off of Amazon
Mm-hmm.
and a cast iron circle to put it in the oven. So now I just got to get some yeast and some low moisture mozzarella, and then I'm making some pizza.
Oh, that sounds good. That sounds delicious.
Thank you,
Alright,
thank
so
you.
yeah, take care. And I don't know if you guys have grocery services that you can order. We have that here in
Yeah, but
Canada where we have grocery
unfortunately,
delivery. I don't know.
Fresh Direct, Amazon Fresh, they have no time slots in all of New York City for the they only open it a week at a time. And so the moment that they open them, the time slots must be getting filled up because they were booked all the way up until April 7th when I looked yesterday.
Wow.
And then you know what? It's
Wow.
actually, yeah, it's really interesting because it's like there are people out there who are putting their lives on the line so that we can, so like Amazon workers are beginning to strike. Instacart workers are
Wow.
beginning to strike. There was a few people who came down with corona in an Amazon warehouse, and
Oh,
it's just the situation is just very precarious.
wow. Wow. I don't know what to say. That's terrible
Are
actually.
you able to get deliveries
Um,
where you are?
yes, well, we're in here. We can go, there are only a few places open, like Costco, Walmart, grocery stores, and pharmacies. We can go to the store, but we have to stay 6.5 feet or 2 meters away from each other. And the stores, even the Costco, they limit how many persons. So you have to line up. They put the markers at 6.5 feet apart to get people in and out, and they keep track of who's inside.
Okay.
So uh, we do have access to that as well. There are online uh, grocery stores we can order from them as well, and they have taken a lot of steps to reduce the corona transmission and to, like, let's just put it this way: Canada was very prepared. Let's just say that they were very prepared in case something like this or a zombie apocalypse occurs. So let's just say that they had something, they acted very quickly, and in terms of other industries. the different companies, they acted very quick as well.
Got you,
So,
got you, got you. Okay. All right.
yeah.
All right. Well, thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you for
Oh,
calling in. You have a great
all right.
evening.
Take care.
All right.
You too. Okay. Bye-bye.
Okay, so when I went to Aldi's website, Aldi said that, well, I don't know if this is just for New York, but they were partnering with Instacart to provide groceries for people. And I just started feeling a little leery about it because the Instacart people are regular people like you and me who get a job with this app and then go grocery shopping for people. And I was like, I don't know who's touching my groceries. And I don't know how well vetted this person is. I don't know whether or not this person would hide symptoms. Laron in the comments said an Amazon worker was caught spitting on a box, but at least that person was caught. They know who the person is. They've been vetted. With some of these apps, you don't really know who is doing what. You don't know who's using the app because anybody could sign in and start doing stuff, So I like if I was going to order groceries, I would order groceries from a reputable company where there's a track of who it has come into contact with your box, their cameras, and all sorts of stuff. Indigo is offering some healthy peanut butter cookies to anybody who wants some. You see, you're going to make us call you now, Indigo. You're going to make us call you. Oh my goodness. But Miss Pink Secrets is saying she ordered Amazon. Are you talking about Amazon groceries and says your order won't be there till the 19th? Are you talking about groceries? Because from what it is that I saw on Amazon Fresh, they only go 1 week out. Yeah, there's 8.5 million people in New York City alone. So there's a lot of people here, and I'm sure there's not 8 million workers to do groceries for all of us. Okay. Yeah, I am not going to be doing Instacart. I ain't doing it. I ain't doing it. I ain't going to be able to do it. Oh, Indigo thinks she's going to go someplace. Anyway, listen, we're not going to. Oh, goodness, we've been on for almost an hour. These broadcasts go so quickly. So they're going to shipping out your grocery order 3 weeks from now? And you order with Whole Foods? Okay, because Amazon Fresh, they only did 1 week out. So the Whole Foods one. And no, I'm not letting anyone come into contact with me who does not live in this household. You're on the air live. What's your name?
I'm gonna mute my phone. I don't know. Okay. Hi,
Okay.
Tonya. This is Chantel.
Hi, Chantel. How are
How are
you?
you?
I'm fine, thanks.
That's good. So I get nervous to call because my situation is a little unique. My daughter has leukemia,
Oh no.
and so it makes me like this whole COVID, like the older coronaviruses
Mm-hmm.
were serious, but this one is really scary for us. So when right now it's like it's hard because when she was diagnosed, we've been like doing the things that everyone's advised to do now for quite some time.
Mm-hmm.
But it's even harder because my daughter's 5, and even like only thing she couldn't go to the park, she couldn't go play. Only thing she could really do was go to the cancer center.
Mm.
The cancer center is it's a charitable organization around here where she could play, and it's clean. It's a place that we could feel comfortable and safe, but she can't even do that anymore. So anytime we leave the house, it's just for her to get chemo.
Mm.
And it's hard because anytime, like when I get her dressed, she starts getting nervous because she's asking where we're going, and I can't even offer her, the fun place. And it's difficult because, like, with the response to the COVID-19, even when I take her to the hospital, like, I can only be there with her. Her sister can't be there with her or anything. So it's just been a really trying time for us. Even like with the leukemia diagnosis and then we're really shuttered in. So, when I was watching you earlier talk about Idris Elba, I was like, my older daughter, I was like really upset because I'm like, because I look at it from a perspective of, I'm a mom, and so, anything with my child, I would be there, to support my child. So when you were talking about what happened with Idris, and I thought to myself, she's not his mama, I'm like, why would he even, you don't even know what this virus will do. We don't understand this virus. Why would he even have her around to risk her health and safety like that? And it's just, I don't know if you understand what I mean when I say, so it's just, it was really troubling for me because I'm like, it's something, and it's a lot, even here, like if they suspect a child has it, like if a child goes in the hospital and they suspect that child has it, they make the parent leave and leave that child in quarantine by themselves at the hospital. And I'm like, and they do that with children. He's a grown man, it's, I get emotional about it, but it's like, how could you be a grown person and love someone and subject them to that? And then it's just backwards to me. And when you have parents being kicked out of the rooms with their own children and children having to sit by themselves because they suspect they had it,
Yeah, so why do you think because you know what? It's surprising to me that so many people are calling in agreement because those comments, most of the people commenting, well, on the Facebook page, my Facebook page I have two Facebook pages, and the Tonya TKO show page is like a whole completely different animal. I don't understand these people. Most of the people commenting are like, that's why you ain't married. You bitter. That's what a wife does. Where's your husband? Going on, and I'm like, is it me that can see that there's something wrong with this?
No, it's not you. It's one thing I think is how people see Idris Elba, and they look at him like they're the fantasy, whatever, fantasy black man, on the state like Morris Chestnut and all that.
Oh.
So there, he's the fantasy guy. I was Idris Elba's wife, I'd be there too. But that's what they think. But I mean, in reality, it's not their fantasy. In reality, because you got a 36-year-old principal, I think, that died up in New York. And her life was at risk. And I think that they're not even looking at it realistically. And no, he should have sent his wife away to keep her safe, and I think the people are saying that because they're like, people, they joke, oh yeah, but what they call them, like their celebrity husband or whatever, I think that's what it is, but
yeah. And you know what, that's
ridiculous.
The part that's so crazy because it's like, this shows our susceptibility to abuse if a person looks good or they're laying pipe right. So, it's like, health be damned, all of this be damned. If the person got a nicely trimmed beard and some good skin.
Right.
Please.
Right. That's exactly what, exactly. And that's a shame, but women, it doesn't even have to be Idris Elba, people, good looking man, they're like, oh yeah, I'll do it, thirsty,
I'm telling
like
you.
We talk about self-love,
Absolutely. Indigo said he's lying about his age though. Let's take a raffle. Let's take a raffle. How old you think Idris is, Chantel?
I would. I think he's in his late. He has to be in his late 40s, early 50s. I think.
All right.
I would put him there.
Put a number. Put a number. We gotta put a number. We taking a poll. Dip is saying 64. Okay, so she's giving him 49. Indigo is saying 64, and Chris is saying 53. You know, some of you are so foolish. She gonna talk about some 64. You are so rude. You are so rude. Well, listen, so what are you going to do to keep your daughter entertained at home? You get to start doing some puppet shows.
We do a lot of like interactive games. She likes to read a lot, so that's one thing. She's a reader. So, we do a lot of those, games. She always asks me to play games. The other day, as a matter of fact, because she lost all her hair, and I had my older daughter shave my hair off. Like, she cut it, and then my older daughter finished it off. So after we did that on Facebook Live, and and after she's like, "Mom, let's go play a game." She likes to play, so we do a lot of different like games, and we like interactive videos or
Okay.
those types of things.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what's difficult about the quarantine?
We got a head start over the rest of the world. We got a head start. About so
Okay. Well, you know what? Make sure that you see about Zoom and finding ways to interact over video with other kids and parents and stuff. Because if children can find joy and enjoyment in watching toy unboxing, I'm sure they can find joy and enjoyment playing with other kids over video.
Yeah. That would be nice. That's a good idea. I think because that's a good idea, Tonya. I'm thinking about it. We talk to the cancer center, see if they can set up something for the kids because they set up something for moms on the Zoom. So I'm gonna do that. I appreciate that.
Absolutely. Hold their Barbies up and be like, "Oh, give me a kiss." You know how they do it.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know how they do it. All right, Chantal, thank you so much for calling in.
Thank you. I appreciate
We love you and keep your head up.
Yeah. Thank you.
All right.
You have a good evening.
You too. Good night.
Okay, good night.
All right. And then somebody gave their Idris age as 47. No, we ain't talking about what it says on Wikipedia. We talk about what our eyes are telling us, because we know that black don't crack. And if that man is 47, listen, but Dip, you wrong for talking about that man is 64. You wrong. You wrong. But nonetheless, send some love and light and energy out to Chantel, Chris, Dip, all of the people who are here. LeBron, who is feeling empathetic energies coming to him and psychic attacks. So to all of us. And then there was a person named Nas that said that he figured it out how to call in. All right. Nas, the phone line is open. We's waiting for you. We's waiting for you. So yes, on my 14th day, I risked my life for some pizza. I called, my niece ordered some pizza, and from the moment that I touched the box, I started feeling pains in my chest. I know I gotta calm down, but then I really had to think to myself, it's not worth it risking your life over some pizza, because you really don't know. You can control how you do things, but you really can't. Tell Nas he need to refresh, because that call is over. He has to refresh because he's behind. Tell Nas refresh, because the comments are in real time for him. But yeah, so I had to really think to myself, am I really willing to risk my life over some food? So yes, I think a lot of us, our minds are playing tricks on us, especially because you never really know. You never really know. So somebody's saying you're right, you can make your own pizza. I don't have the ingredients, but I sure did go onto Amazon and get the ingredients. I sure did go to Amazon. I got the flour and I got the cast iron thing to cook it in. But I don't have the cheese, the the tomato sauce, but I'll just use some pizza. I mean some I ain't gonna get all fancy with it because the layer of tomato sauce that we use in New York is very, very thin. I have some spaghetti sauce, I'm gonna use that. Look, it's tomatoes. Look, I ain't one of those type of people because I wash my dishes with laundry detergent. I do. I do. I use the laundry detergent and I put vinegar and lemon peel into it, and it becomes a wonderful, wonderful treat. Not a treat. I'm thinking about pizza. I'm thinking about pizza. Wow, so they just bumped me out. They bumped me out. So, I don't know what's going on with Nas, but it seems like Nas is having difficulties. Yeah, I don't know what happened. I got bumped out, but I'm back now. I'm back. But nonetheless, so yeah, so I'm not one of those type of people that like, oh, I have to have spaghetti. No, I'll just use my spaghetti sauce. I just need some low moisture cheese, some low moisture, full fat mozzarella cheese. Because listen, you know what? I've always been scared. I've always been apprehensive about cooking with yeast. You know what? I should have let this broadcast end. I should have let the broadcast end because I think it's disrespectful to be talking about pizza and yeast on a video where we're talking about a man who went to the hospital and infected his wife with corona. So, Nas, we're going to give you a few more moments to call in. Can somebody type to Nas? They got a few more moments to try calling in. So, is Nas not in the country? Is Nas in another country or something like that? Okay. Listen, Nas is getting usurped. Hello.
Hi, how are you?
Listen, Nas just got usurped by Ivana, who saw the opening and jumped in.
I had to go, but then I was able to come back. How are you guys? I miss you guys so much.
Yeah, well, you know what? I'm not a guy, so I would really love for you to respect my femininity.
Oh, oh, I'm sorry. Oh, sorry. Ladies. Sorry, ladies.
I think there's a guy or two in the audience, but for the most part, listen, most of us are ladies, so listen.
I meant it in a gender neutral way.
But guys is not gender neutral. Guy is the catch-all that they use to defeminize women. Listen, I want my femininity addressed.
I didn't even know that. You know, we're so power, so you are
exactly,
right.
Exactly. Because you know what's really interesting?
Yeah.
Because I worked, I went down to Puerto Rico after the hurricanes, and I was, in a room talking to a bunch of people, and I was like, why do we use, the male pronoun for groups, right? But then when I used the female pronoun to address the entire group, the men in the group got very angry. But we as women were so used to relinquishing our femininity for men's sake or for whoever's sake. I don't know. We've just become accustomed to it. But the men did not like it when I was like, nosotras. They didn't like it. They did not like it.
Yeah. I mean, even going back to like biblical days, I remember like being in church and reading, and of course, like they mainly refer to people as men, or
exactly,
men should do this or that. And I'm like, man, why are they always referring to males instead of, or, why are they always referring to men instead of
Well,
women?
that's good because when it was time for me to break away from the Bible, it wasn't too difficult because I knew they wasn't talking to me. Nonetheless, I know you called in for a reason, so go ahead and say talk to us. What did you call in to talk about?
A long track record of that. A long track record of that. But yeah, I feel like this virus is turning everyone into hypochondriacs. Like everyone just seems like they're on edge. Any little thing makes people feel like, they might be dying. I definitely felt that way, and I was like, okay, I need to take a chill pill or something. Like, I need to calm down. But you just don't know if you may have it because the incubation period is so long.
Exactly. And we're not doing mass
scary.
testing. So listen, can somebody tell Nas to just add me on Facebook and just call me through the messenger? Just send a friend request. It's Tonya.TKO.1. Just add me on Facebook. That's not for everybody now. Don't go crazy.
What are some of the things that you guys voted on today? I was not able to catch most of the live because I got the notification late for some reason. But
so the vote number 1 was whether or not you wanted to call in. 2 was if you're good chilling in the chat. 3 was whether or not we should stalk Indigo, and 4 was we should leave her let her be. So
4 was what?
Leave her and let her be.
How is Dip doing? How is Dip and Indigo doing?
Well, she said she was getting ready to call in. So now that I know she's ready to talk, as soon as you get off, we're gonna give her the opportunity, and then we're reaching.
Let's go ahead and get out because I want to hear what she has to say. I feel like I've been out of the loop.
But aren't you a medical professional? You need to put us in the loop. How are things for you all, the frontline people?
Well, it was really terrible. Like right after they had closed all of the restaurants, my receptionist company really wasn't. A lot of places, I will say, they weren't taking the proper protocol to keep the medical professionals safe, and I just began to get really upset and express, that we should be properly screening patients.
Exactly.
That we should also not just allow for patients to be congregating in the waiting room. They should be calling before they come in, and it should be just essential appointments. It shouldn't be people that are, that have nothing going on, and it's something that could wait, for weeks or at least, months down the road. So they definitely weren't doing that at first, but I expressed my concerns, and they'll take notice because there's some people that are refusing to work. So the people that are working, they don't want to get them so upset that they feel like they don't want to work either. Now I feel like a lot of facilities are going into wanting to put out advertisements saying that we're all in this together. Hopefully this ends soon, and just caring about other people and letting them know that we will see emergency cases, but if you're not essential, to stay at home. Weirdly, it was a lot of people that wanted to come in right after they had closed all of the restaurants, and I'm just thinking to myself, even medical professionals, and I'm just thinking, like, why is there the abundance of people that don't have anything emergent going on wanting to come in right now? I guess a lot of people have downplayed it. I think this last couple of days has allowed some people to take it more seriously because it seems like it's going to be going on for a longer time than originally thought.
Yeah, my cousin who's in the UK, as of yesterday, was telling me people are overreacting. He's going out every day and all this other stuff. And I was like, listen, if you want to go out there, go ahead. I was like, you're my cousin, so I know where to send the flowers. As simple as that. Because I ain't gonna hurt myself. We all grown.
Yeah.
So I feel you on that. And for the people staying home, I don't blame healthcare professionals in the United States, this damn third world country. I don't blame them for staying home.
Yeah, and I was worried that some medical students, because my best friend, she's in med school right now, and they're wanting med students to volunteer to, work directly with corona patients. And I'm like, I texted her, like, I hope that you're not going to try to sign up for that. She's like, no, this is the only volunteer opportunity that I wouldn't want to take.
You know
So,
what I'm
I
saying?
don't know what precautions they're taking to really protect the medical professionals, is what I'm thinking, because they definitely were
Exactly.
taking it very seriously for a while.
They're paying $33 an hour in New York for you to assist with people for drive-up screenings. I was like, I was like, no, thank you. Who want to make
It's not
all
worth
this money
it.
that they can't spend? Mm-mm.
Right. It's just ridiculous. So the symptoms and the videos that people have been putting out, and some people are making videos, and then a few days later they passed away. So I think the documentation is really good, because a lot of people thought that the government was overreacting and that it was just like a flu. Your video, I think, helped a lot of people when you referred to the virus to be closer to pneumonia than it is like the flu. I
Yeah,
think
but you
that
know
catches a lot of
what?
people's attention.
That video got 2,000 views, but Trump is over there telling people it's just like the flu, and he spoke to millions. So it's like, how do we
Yeah.
combat the ignorance? It's like my platform is just not. It's I have a nice sized platform, but it's not big enough to counteract what the president is saying. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Did you hear him speaking yesterday? I literally was just like in awe at the fact that this guy is really our president right now. He just sounded so much like a buffoon. And then when he would get off on the side and, allow somebody else to be speaking, the way that he was just standing there and his posture and facial expressions, I was just like,
Oh, you know
this is
what?
really cartoonish,
You know what? It actually is a microcosmic view of many of the issues that are going on in America, where people think that what's between their legs or their lack of melanin gives them some sort of superiority. And you see firsthand that we have been bamboozled because these people are buffoons, they're idiots, and they have never really
Yeah,
had to be held accountable. And I'm not just talking about him. I'm talking about many of our supervisors who are out there who are
many.
just idiotic.
The majority, I would say, the majority.
Listen,
And
but
that's
they've
why
been getting
there's
passes
so many
since
people
Ivy
being
League
put in harm's
schools.
way.
Huh?
What'd you say?
I said they've been getting passes since their Ivy League schools. Meanwhile, the true
Exactly.
brilliance, because you know what I thought about? Because you all don't know this, but you know what? I forgot I can't even talk about it publicly. Because I agreed that I would not discuss it, but I had an opportunity to how do I put this without discussing what it is that I said I would not discuss? All right, I'm going to say this, and I'm not going to talk about myself, right? I'm just going to say this.
Okay, yeah.
I thought about how we don't know, because Steve Jobs, his parents were Syrian refugees. And
Mhm.
it made me wonder, why is it that we automatically think that the people who are at the border have nothing to offer us? We don't know where genius will come from. There could be the next doctor
Exactly.
or someone who is in a damn cage down at the border. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And Steve Jobs totally revolutionized the way that we
Exactly.
communicate, the way that we're able to have access to information.
Right, but you know
I
what it
honestly
is?
think ever since he's passed away, everything has slowed down as far as the innovation within the technological world.
Well, he probably did what it is that he needed to do, and then it was time for him to move on. But I'll say this, that there are people who think that the amount of pigmentation that you have in your skin, determines whether or not they should even consider your worth. And oh,
Exactly.
we are in for a rude awakening, because if you saw the technology that South Korea had. You saw the technology that they
Yeah.
had in China. We are a joke. But listen, you've been on for 12 minutes, so I'm going to let you go so I can
Yeah.
take the next caller. All right. So thank you so much, Mama. Keep your head up.
Yes, thank you so much. And I'm of course sending out positive vibrations to everybody. Hopefully everybody stays safe. Thanks for having me on.
Absolutely. Thank you. Good night.
Good night. Bye-bye.
All right. So tell Nas that the phone line is open. Tell Nas that he can call in. Okay. All right. You're on the air live. What's your name?
Hi, my name is Naz. I'm glad this finally happened.
Oh, hey Nas, what's going on?
Hey, I'm good. I don't even know exactly what I want to say, to be honest. I've called because I feel so bad because everybody was trying to help me do the call. But
Oh,
I'm from England,
okay.
and I'm a doctor, and I've recently come across your page and I really liked it. To be
Oh,
honest, I've
thank
showed it to
you.
my mom.
Thank you. Wait, are you talking about the page here on YouTube?
Yeah, the YouTube, like your videos
Oh,
and
you
stuff
know
like
what? I
that.
was telling the people in the comments to tell you that you can add me on Facebook and call me through Messenger, because I don't know how much this call is costing you.
Oh, I found an app. I used to have international calling, but
Oh, okay.
I don't know.
Okay.
But recently got rid of it, so I found an app finally.
All right. So here we have Nas on the line, and you are. So how did you come across my videos? I'm curious.
It's a very strange story, but I'm ethnically Somali, so
Okay.
and I'm not the best at explaining this, but I did really kind of just wanted to learn a little bit more about Black people and culture and stuff like that. I grew up referring to myself as Somali, but not really knowing much about, the Black community at large.
Okay. So did you
And
type Black community on YouTube?
no, I told a friend of mine who's a professor and she's very educated about, on Black matters and stuff. And one of them sent me your videos and recommended you to me.
Oh,
And then I
how
started just watching
interesting.
more videos. Yeah.
Oh, how interesting. What video did they send you?
Oh, I actually don't remember the first video I watched, but if I look again, I'll be able to find it.
Oh, okay, cool. Oh, they said it's a little muffled. I'm gonna take you off of the thing. Say something now. Let me see if the sound is more clear.
Can you guys hear me?
Can you hear her better now? I've moved it from there to over here on a hard surface. So, well, I'm glad that you found my videos. So, what's the story? So you're calling in right now in England. It must be about 6 in the morning.
It's super late. It's 4 a.m.
It's 4 in the morning.
Yeah.
So what are you doing up so late?
But to be honest, I was watching this and that's why I'm up so late.
Oh Lord,
I would have gone to bed.
How funny. So you said that you're a medical professional.
Yeah.
And so what is it that you originally wanted to call in about?
The Idris Elba situation.
Oh Lord. Oh gosh. Yes. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I found it really interesting, the whole situation, because I share your belief that I think if you truly love somebody, you do want to protect them. And I think if anybody loves anyone in that relationship, it's obviously her. I'm newlywed, and my husband, literally, when he has the common cold, he doesn't want to be around me.
Exactly.
Before all of this, COVID situation.
Yes.
And I just think it's so horrible to endanger your wife's life in that way. And I showed my mom your video today and we were watching it and she said something I find quite interesting. I'm not really sure. But she said, I don't think she would do that for a Somali guy.
Who?
Sabrina.
You know what? Let's take a poll. Let's take a poll. Okay. All right.
Okay.
So, but let me ask you first, why Somali of all places?
Because Sabrina's originally ethnically Somali. I don't know if you guys know.
Oh, you know what? I thought I read something about that. Okay, so let's do a poll. Let's do a poll. All right, so Nas feels that, so listen, so Sabrina, who married Idris Elba, Sabrina is ethnically Somalian, right?
Yeah,
And
and we are too. That's why my mom said that.
so Nas's mother is Somalian as well. They were watching the video today, and Nas's mother had a theory that Sabrina, who is ethnically Somalian, would not endanger her life with the possibility of catching COVID-19 for a Somali man. If you feel that she would, put up a 5. If you feel that she would not, put up a 7. If you're on the fence, put up a 6. So 5, 6, 7 is the next poll. If you think that she would not, put up a 5. If you think that she would, put up a 7. If you're not sure or you're on the fence, put up a 6. Do you think that Sabrina would endanger her life? Like if her Somali husband, is he wealthy though? Or we talking about just a regular Somali? Wealthy or?
Well, I mean, we're not talking about a proper, multi-millionaire celeb like this, but my mom just thinks that she wouldn't do it for a regular or averagely wealthy Somali guy.
Okay, so even if he was averagely wealthy, so people are putting up 666, so they're saying no. One person put up 6 3/4, and one person put up 7. So yeah, so they feel that they would not. So let me ask you all this question. Right? Let me ask you all this question. So we know that Davido is Nigerian, right? Because we talked about Davido in the video, right? So Davido is Nigerian. His wife is not, or his fiance is Nigerian as well, right? So let me ask you all, we're going to do the next survey because I really want to hear your point of view, right? Okay. So Chioma is Davido's wife. So this is Chioma and this is Davido. So we're going to do a poll, okay? So the numbers are going to be 8 and 9, all right? So do you think that the world would be, let's say, you know what? I want to do that poll, but I want to do it right. So I'm going to come back. I'm going to come back to that because I want to word it right. All right. So Nas, go ahead. I'm going to come back to that poll, but I want you all to think about the dynamic between Davido's wife and Davido, the puppet heads. All right. So go ahead, Nas, your turn. You have the floor. I'm going to do my survey in a moment.
Okay, thanks. Well, I wasn't really sure what, I think what my mom meant was maybe this man, because he is a celebrity, but also because he's from a different culture, because she may be, looking up to him, idolizing him in a certain way and wanting to prove herself more to him than she would to, a Somali guy or somebody within her culture.
Right. Yes, absolutely. I feel that too.
Yeah.
And I also think that him being a philandering community banana, community peen, as you all put it, I think that has something to do with it as well. Because when you have a man whose eye is wandering, you try to jump through hoops to please them. Simple.
Yes. You don't want to lose them.
Exactly. Like if she felt protected by her man, I don't think that she would do that either. All right, are you ready for the survey? Are you all ready for the survey? So the numbers are going to be 8 and 9, right? Okay. 2 West African people, 2 Nigerians, right? Chioma and Davido. Okay. If Davido had the coronavirus, right? And his wife, Chioma, was like, oh, I have to be with you during this time. Do you think that people would be the same level of upset if she decided to go and do that? Do you think they would be the same level of upset? Put up 8 if you don't think that they would be upset and they would be like, oh, that's fine, etc. So like now people are upset because Sabrina decided to come and be with Davido and he allowed her to. But do you think that people would have expected, let's say, no. Do not answer the survey yet. We're going to have to use different numbers now. We're going to have to use different numbers. So we're going to do 10 and 11. Do you think that people would have expected for Chioma to risk her life for Davido? West African woman, West African man. Put up a 10 if you think that people would have expected her to risk her life. Put up an 11 if you think that they would not have. Okay, what do you say, Naz? 10 or 11?
Oh, I'm not very familiar with West African culture, to be honest. So I don't know if, the martyrdom sort of is normal over there or not. But I think, I don't know, maybe they would actually be upset. Maybe they would have seen it as, as some kind of a cultural, I don't know the word, but when a culture is oppressive to women, so they might have looked at it in that way. So, for example, earlier you talked about the sati that happened in India, and obviously that's a very extreme case.
Yeah.
But that's always looked at negatively. It's considered, an oppressive culture in such a way. So I think it might have had people feel that type of way if it was too West African.
And you know what? I actually agree with you. I agree with you. Me personally, my point of view, I feel that if Chioma was like, oh, I'm going to be with you and catch the coronavirus, that people would be like, Davido, what's wrong with you? Why would you do that? Why would you allow her? And I think it has to do with the perceptions that we have about West African men.
Of cultures. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I also think it has something to do with the lack of worth of Black American women. Like we don't really value Black American women. So we're like, that bitch better be there. Okay. Okay. All right. That was too much. That's just too much. That was too much. All right. That was too much. All right. Well, Naz, it was such a pleasure speaking with you. How have you been during are you all shut down out there?
Yeah, so in the UK, we're under a lockdown and people should only be out getting essentials. The NHS is, we have a national health service, so healthcare is free, but it's very overwhelmed.
Oh, wow.
By the number of cases. Yeah.
I bet.
So,
oh, you know what? I'm glad I got somebody on the UK on the line.
This is the first time, and this is the first time I've ever called anywhere. I'm so nervous.
Oh, no, don't be nervous, but I want to ask you about Prince Charles. And first of all, Prince Charles said he had contracted COVID-19, but then 7 days later, he was up and out the house. What are your thoughts on that?
That was very weird. My mom asked me about it as well. And the only logical conclusion I can reach is that they must have not made it known that he had the coronavirus until quite late. So they must have made it public late. Otherwise, I don't understand how he's fully recovered and out of isolation.
I think the elite have something. I think there's more going on.
Well, the pharmaceutical industry is very interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Like nobody knows what they have or don't have up their sleeve.
Exactly, because I personally think that people like Trump and other world leaders got that vaccine on the low.
Oh my God, that's really unfair. To think of that, it hurts me because I know that as a doctor, I know how hard doctors work, trying to help patients, and I know people, and I just think that people could have the cure for certain diseases and just not want to share it and make money. It's a horrible thought.
Yeah. No, listen, I feel you on that.
Oh, I don't know what, I thought somebody thought I was a man because they said does Naz need a wife? But then I realized it's a joke.
Well, we do have some lady-loving ladies in the audience,
Oh no, I'm sure.
but
I
typically,
just misunderstood the comment.
but Nas is, I thought you were male at first as well, because Nas is a male name here. Nazarene.
Oh, okay. Well, Naz is just short for my name, but I'm not a man.
She says she's not a man. Okay. All right.
I know you're joking, Indigo. Sorry.
No, indigo. I mean, indigo is one of the colors of the rainbow. So that's all I'm going to say about that. I'll let indigo speak for indigo's self. So that's all I'm going to say. So nonetheless, how is morale in the hospitals in the UK?
It's actually, I don't think it's best. It's very stressful, It's very full. There's not enough people, so there's not enough like doctors and nurses, But we're really grateful that we have a health service here that is free and everybody can access it.
Yeah. Do you all have enough PPEs out there?
Sorry?
Do you have enough protective gear? How's the hospital staff geared up?
I think the PPE is varies. So I think some hospitals have better PPE than others.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
All right. Well, you know what? Check back in with us and let us know how you're doing, okay?
Thank you guys so much for having me and for being so lovely.
Yes, absolutely. Give your mom a big hug for me, for all of us, okay?
I will. Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. So we have Kumori-chan, who is inside of the audience, who wants to know how to chat. The telephone number is 323-488-3149, 323-488-3149. Kumori-chan, otsukare-sama desu. You can call in. So, yes. There was a teenager that died on the way to the... No. What? There's a teenager that died on their way to the hospital after being turned away? Oh my goodness. You know what? Wow. Uh-oh. My battery is dying. I have to plug this in. Hold on. Oh my goodness. We have to do these more often, these live shows, especially now during the lockdown. So, no, I haven't heard about that. He 17 years old? Oh my goodness. That's crazy. And you know what? There's people out there that's like, see, this is what I'm saying. We don't know how it'll show up in somebody else's body, and people are not immune. And wow. And then you know what? I did hear about a young man who they would not test him. He was Black. They wouldn't test him and they sent him home. And then he came back and he ended up on a respirator. I'm not sure if he passed away or not, but I did hear a story about that. But you know what? It just goes to show the stench of the things unhealed in this country are going to be bubbling up right about now. You know what I mean? Wow. Well, it does seem like the virus has a bias towards men, from what it is I'm hearing. That more, like, twice as many men are dying than women. So there is a bit of a bias. Wouldn't it be something if that husband who infected his wife, if he ended up kicking the bucket and his wife, I mean, what can she do after he came there and infected her? I'm sorry. Chris is saying that they're Republican? I have no words. That took me for a loop right there. You know what? When I am often stunned in my practice by the sheer hypocrisy of people, the sheer hypocrisy aligning themselves with people who practice policies who are against people like them. I'm stunned. And we talked about that earlier with the whole Stockholm syndrome and all this other stuff. We have Republican lawmakers who created policies for people not to be able to get married who are not of opposite gender and not to serve them for quote unquote religious practices. And so when we have people who are, listen, Chris, if you're going to talk about it, you better talk about it all. So if you're ready to call in, you better call in and talk about it all, because the hypocrisy is not going to be left unsaid. You ready to talk about it all? Because listen, let me ask you all this question. Let me ask you all this question. Let me ask you all this question. How do you, oh, Saved by the Bell. You're on the air live.
Hey, how you doing?
I'm fine, thanks. How are you doing?
I'm relaxing. I'm about to put on my headphones. Give me 1 second, sorry.
You should have done all of that before you called in. You're gonna call in and then ask us to hold on?
Look, I'm a Republican, okay? So we take liberties, all right?
I honestly, I don't think that that's funny. I don't think it's funny.
Okay, I'm laying with you. Okay, listen, think of it this way. This is America, right? And so we're a partnership, right? So I know that right now politics seem very, what's the word? Everyone's at odds with each other, right? But America is a constitutional republic, and it's all about allowing the minorities, right, to have a voice too. And that's what the Republican Party is about. But here's the thing. The people in our country who are typically seen as minorities, don't take the initiative, right, to join the Republican Party and make the Republican Party what they can make it.
Oh my gosh.
It's up to us, right? We have to come. If the minorities say, I'm just going to stay away from the Republican Party, right? What's going to happen? The people who, certain people are going to take over, right, the Republican Party, and then lean it in a certain direction that's not the most desirable. But frankly, I think that the Republican Party principles are principles that every minority should be interested in.
What principles are those?
Like I said, for example, the fact that, so democracy, right, has to do with the majority rules, right? Now, here's the problem with majority rules. If 50% of the population plus one person says, I want things to go this way, then everybody has to adjust to it, right? And that's the way the Democrats are, right? But the Republicans say, you know what, we're more of a constitutional republic. So basically what Republicans say is that the minority gets to be counted. So in that case, what we're saying, okay, well, and that's why what you see is in rural areas, for example, their votes count and their votes mean something.
No, the reason why people's votes count in rural areas with the Republicans is because of gerrymandering. I just, you know what, I feel like I have to say this because life is too short, the world is ending, and I don't have the time for hypocrisy. Chris, you're transgender. How
Right.
in the world can you support a party that is against people like you?
And that's a great question. I don't think that the party is against people like me. I think that you do have some people who are heard more than other people, and they have the megaphone. You know what I mean? And so a lot of people prejudge Republicans, right? But for the most part, Republicans are very open and they don't mind listening to other viewpoints. And one thing I like about Republicans that maybe the Democrats don't do very well with, Republicans, even if they disagree with you, they will let you have a voice. And I mean, they might call you names.
Gerrymandering is allowing people to have a voice, stopping people.
Well,
First of all, you know what you're saying? You're saying Republican. Republican is a word. They're the conservative party. They claim to be for small government, but they are constantly promoting legislature that allows government to reach into people's bedrooms and uteruses and between their partners. I don't understand. I'm very confused.
Here's my problem with what you're saying about uteruses. Okay, here's the thing. The thing is this: nobody, and I mean even the most avid abortion supporter, nobody wants to go through an abortion, right? And so here's my thing as a Republican. My thing is this.
You don't know
Now,
what
I'm
people
not saying,
want for their. Plenty of people want to go through abortions. That's why they get them.
No. What I mean by want to is dream about it and wish for it, right? I mean, for example, it's like somebody not necessarily wishing to go through surgery, right? Because that's what abortion is. People have to go under the knife. What I'm saying is that no one dreams about and wishes for abortion. So I think that the issue that I have with abortion is that people are basically not being responsible. If you're going to lay on your back, right, and you have the opportunity and the ability to get pregnant, think about it. Just think about it before you start. That there's a life that could form inside of you. Okay, we're not Neanderthals, right? So we don't just go off and. I mean, some people, I guess, do, but we shouldn't do that because we're human.
Listen. Personally, I don't care about your opinion on abortion. I don't. I don't care about your opinion of people's uteruses. If you don't want to have an abortion, don't have one. I'm not going to sit here and judiciate Roe versus Wade here on the phone because your opinion means nothing. Your opinion means nothing. If you don't want to have an abortion, don't have one. Next, we're talking about the fact that you consider yourself a conservative and you're transgender, the hypocrisy of that.
Right. It seems hypocritical, but it's not, because of the fact that there are people. First of all, like for instance, Trump. Trump says that he, puts forth certain policies that are unfavorable.
Are you a Trump supporter too?
Huh?
You're a Trump supporter too?
I'm not saying I'm a Trump supporter. I'm saying that at some point I supported him. I don't support him anymore because I believe he's shifted and that he's an antichrist, but that's something totally different. I think that he's doing things that are antithetical to
it was so
God
nice of you to call in. I really appreciate you taking the time to have this conversation. We're going to have a conversation another day. All right. Thank you so much.
No problem. All right. Good night.
You know, I just, right now, we are dealing with the aftermath of people who voted this ignoramus into office. We're dealing with the aftermath, people dying by the thousands. Right now, New York City is the hotbed of the coronavirus because of policies and jobs and offices that were closed and budgets that were cut by this administration. So I hold all people who voted for him culpable. Listen, Indigo, if you want to hear what Chris has to say, go hit Chris up on Facebook. Go have your conversation someplace else. I'm not doing it. It's 5 minutes to 2 hours. I'm not doing it. If you choose to do it, go do it. Go ahead. I don't have the capacity. Maybe if Chris didn't spend so much time talking about people laying on their back and producing children or producing a life, then they would have had more time to talk about what they called in to talk about. So no, I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. So nonetheless, we're talking about nearly 80,000 cases in New York alone, when China had 80,000 cases in the whole entire country. And China has 1 billion people in it. New York only has 8 million. Listen, Chris, it's none of our business who you claim you voted for. It's none of our business who you claim you voted for. Listen. Anyway, so I appreciate, you know what? Trump did a lot of things. This administration cut the funding to the CDC. There was an epidemiologist on the ground in China whose sole job it was to stay on top of outbreaks so that we could be prepared and know what's going on. And that person was removed from their position 4 months before this outbreak. I can't. So nonetheless, listen, I'm not going to listen. When we talk about loving yourself, right? Yeah, you know what? Kimori-san, call in. The number is 323-488-3149. It has to be a quick phone call. When we talk about loving yourself, we have to know what it is that we can deal with. And tonight, I really was not in the mood to deal with that conversation, and so I opted out. I thought I was very respectful. I didn't hang up on nobody. You know what I'm saying? I was very respectful. I thanked Chris for calling in. I even said goodbye. You know what I mean? Back in the past, sometimes my finger would just hit the button, but I've changed. I'm changing my ways. I'm changing my ways. My booty. Sitting down for all this time. Listen, Kimori, if you're going to call in, you need to call in. Because we're coming down to the wire. And I just wasn't in the mood. I just wasn't in the mood. And that's okay. Listen, I'm human just like anybody else. I'm human. All right. So Kamodi is not, we're, oh Lord, I don't even think that Canada and the US has international calling between the two. And if you don't know whether or not you can call US numbers by now, I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say, because by now we should all know who we're able to call or not. Chris, you already know how I feel about transgender. I have no interest in any type of vagina. I have no interest. I have no interest in any type of vagina. I have no interest in breast. I have no interest in people who secrete estrogen or progesterone. I have no interest. I have no interest in sharing tampons or Diva cups or maxi pads with my mate. I have no interest. I have no interest whatsoever. I like testosterone. I like testosterone, and I if you find the right man, I like the balance that the male brain brings into my life. I have no interest in the female brain, and I have no interest in the trans brain. I just don't have interest in that. I have no interest in it. I have no interest. I'm not interested in dating a transgender person. That's not my thing. I'm not interested in it. I'm not interested. I'm not interested. I'm just not interested. I'm not interested. That's not an interest of mine. That's not an interest of mine. I'm sorry. Not sorry. And I'm hoping that's something that you would have known by now after, I mean, we speak about this already? I thought we spoke about this. I'm just not interested. You know, different people have different journeys that they are here in this life to go on. Me traversing through the world, going through the journey of dating a transgender person is just not, it's just not a journey I choose to pick up in this lifetime. It's not a journey that I choose to pick up. I'm sure you do get women, and more power to them, more power to them. More power, more power. Listen, more power. All right, so we have crossed over the 2-hour mark. I don't typically even go over an hour. We went 2 hours on this broadcast. We waited for Kamodi, but Kamodi could not get their act together. And listen, is there somebody that needs to get put on time out? Because I think that listen, I don't look, none of us have, listen, I'm going to say this, right? None of us here know whether or not anybody in this comment section is lying. We don't have that authority, right? Because none of us can do no fact check on anybody in the comment section. If there's somebody who's going to come forward and say that I'm lying, then it's time for you to get off of my channel. It's as simple as that. It's as simple as that, because I do my very best to be completely transparent and honest. So if there's anybody who's going to try to come to my face and say Tonya's a liar, that person has some serious issues and they got to go. They need to go. Because look, real recognize real. And if you can't recognize the real before you, that means you need to be behind me. So listen. Oh, okay. All right, I see. Okay. Listen. Go ahead and click those thumbs up button. I'm getting out of here. I just, Yes, click the like button. All right, I'll see you all later. Hugs, everybody. Hugs. Stay safe out there. Continue quarantining in. Don't fall by the wayside of people talking about, do you want to quarantine with me? Don't do it to yourself. Don't do it to yourself. Listen. Oh my goodness. You know what? You all realize that you want to talk about how time flies? It's been 6 months since I've been in California. 6 months. Can you believe it's been that long? because I left in November. And so it's 5 months. And now here we are coming to April. So we're talking about half a year since I've been gone. Half a year. All right. Well, thank you all for coming out for the stream. I will see you all in the next video. Tomorrow's video is going to be on Oprah and how Oprah handled it when Stedman came in from traveling from out of town. I'm saying, because listen, we're talking about, I went to Nigeria almost 4 months ago. That was December, January, February, March, April. We're talking about 4 months. 4 months. To just throw away the key. Do you want to quarantine with? Oh, please. My face during that part, I nearly choked when I was editing it. I laughed. Oh my goodness. I almost laughed till sputum started coming. I don't know what sputum is, but I like the word. I laughed my sputum out. I don't know if there's medical people still on here that know what sputum is, but isn't that a lovely word, sputum? It sounds like exactly what it is. I wasn't supposed to be in New York this long, LaRon. I wasn't supposed to be here this long. I actually wish that I was in Cali for this outbreak because people are not taking it seriously. People are not taking it seriously in New York. And now I'm out here with a bunch of people who think that they're invincible because of where they were born geographically. You know what I mean? It's like New Yorkers feel that we're so tough and invincible. They feel like they're going to F up coronavirus, especially people from Brooklyn. You know, Brooklyn don't know how to act. Anyway, I'll see you all in the next video.